Hey everybody, it's Bulldog back with a brand new video. I've got some outstanding news for you guys. A lot of you are probably very excited that you just unlocked C-3PO today, having some fun playing with him. And guess what? It gets better because C-3PO just made the tank raid a heck of a lot easier. It's for me, it's been one of the biggest chores in the game lately. It's not anything that's challenging, yet you can't completely auto it. That might not be true anymore. I think we can actually auto this raid. Now my C-3PO isn't quite high enough gear yet for me to say that for sure. But I'm going to show you how easy this raid just became with C-3PO, even at a low gear. And what's going to happen is we're actually going to take advantage of the Finn leadership. This leadership kind of went on the back burner thanks to Jedi training Rey, but it's definitely going to come back at least for this tank raid here. And what we're going to take advantage of is this reducing cooldowns and gaining 35% turn meter whenever a whenever an enemy is damaged. This is for resistant allies. So C-3PO is going to call a ton of assist. We've got a few rebels here that are going to expose on their basic thanks to C-3PO. We've also got an Ewok who's going to expose on his basic thanks to C-3PO. And all three of them can remove turn meter on their basic, which will help in P1 and P3. Right here you can see me going through my mods. These mods are terrible. These are not characters that I personally use a whole lot, so I don't have very good mods on them. I did not mod them very much. I put a potency primary on Han to help him land a few exposes at the very beginning. That's about the only change I made. Oh, I did give um, CLS and offense arrow instead of a speed arrow. Speed is going to be irrelevant because everything's going to come through turn meter gain here. But mods don't matter too much. I can optimize them a little bit to get a little better performance, but anybody can do this regardless of your mods. So let's kind of jump right in here and I'll show you how this is going to work. So the first thing we have to do is get 2 stacks of confuse on all the side mobs here, because in phase 1 is the hardest. Kenobi is going to I'm sorry, not Kenobi. Grievous is going to take a bonus turn after every 7th time that he's damaged. So we need to get Confuse up to prevent him from giving turn meter gain, and to prevent them from getting taunt, as you see here, taunt happens. You can do this without killing anybody. This this run right here was kind of a fail on my part. I was not able to get Confused up very well. I got 2 of them here, and then this last Magna Guard kind of gave me trouble when he died. That made things a little bit harder. Um, because of that, I couldn't quite play Phase 1 on auto. My C-3PO is a little weak. I've also had problems with him dying. He is gear 8 right now. If he's up at gear 12, he's not going to die. That's not going to be a problem. But here you can see this infinite turn meter basically. So every time C-3PO uses his assist call, Han's going to attack twice, COS is going to attack once, Ewok Scout is going to attack once. That's 4 chances to expose. You basically need 3 exposes to complete the turn meter cycle, and get C-3PO 100% turn meter so he can go again. That's going to happen almost every time. That gives you a little bit of a room for error just in case one of those is resisted. The odds of 2 of them getting resisted is not very good. Even if it happens, it's not exactly the end of the world. Everyone will gain a little bit of turn meter, but it's very easy to reset. It does not take, even though I'm playing this one manual here, because I was waiting for this Magna Guard to pop back up. As you can see, this whole thing works pretty well. You get the famous infinite loop that CG supposedly does not want us to have. We will see what they decide to do with this one. Grievous is going to get some turns because he gets that bonus turn meter. after every 7th time he takes damage. That includes damage from exposes. So he's hitting that pretty much every time we do the assist. The order of the assist will play a big role in whether Grievous gets a turn or not. As long as Han or Luke are taking turns after he gains um, that bonus turn meter, they're going to lower that back down below 100 and guarantee that C-3PO goes again. You'll run into some problems because it's not just C-3PO that's going to gain turn meter. Everybody here has a mechanism by which they'll gain turn meter. COS will give everybody turn meter by inflicting his debuffs. Finn is also a resistance ally, so he will be in the same loop that C-3PO is. When you're playing it manually, you don't want to attack with Finn. You want to use his cleanse and heal, and because on his special, what just happened right there, he can reset Grievous. He doesn't have any turn meter reduction, so if he is that final hit, you've got nothing to stop Grievous from taking his next turn, other than C-3PO winning the tiebreaker being at 100% turn meter. That is possible, but you can avoid that just by having Finn use his non-attack special, which will always be up because his cooldowns are being reduced. Everybody else has a mechanism by which they will reduce turn meter, so when they take turns, it it should be okay. You never know when something's going to get resisted. We are our enraged timer will be up here in just a second once I go back to Grievous. Yeah, we're over halfway through this, still at 11 on the enraged timer. This is a very fast phase, and it's very easy to get through. I I expect that with decent RNG, you can actually auto it if you get this set up properly to begin with. I've gotten it set up from the very beginning, and I did one on full auto that I got to 30% before C-3PO died, taking damage from these AOE's. He was only at gear 6 then, so that was why I upgraded him up to gear 8. He gets pretty close to dying here at gear 8, so you might want to have him a little higher gear than that, especially if you want to run it on auto, where Grievous will take even more turns because Finn insists on using his his attack instead of his heal. But anyways, we're getting through this very quickly. This is by far the hardest phase. Once we get to phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, you're going to see absolutely how easy this is. It becomes kind of a joke. It's so good that I'm worried. I'm worried we might see a nerf here. Who knows? Hopefully CG realizes how much a lot of us do not like this raid anymore. It was an okay raid when it first came out, but it's outdated, yet still requires a lot of effort to complete. Um, there are plenty of other teams out there that can solo this, but this is going to be by far the easiest one. Let's just go ahead and skip through the rest of this phase here real quick. It's pretty much the same thing over and over. We don't need to watch the entire thing. Gets down 5 on the turn meter and still had that was with it was a very bad run. So now is on to the really fun part where you can actually put your phone down. So all you have to do is kill off the side turrets here on the tank, which is very easy. Make sure everybody's got the translation buff. Even on auto, C-3PO will spread that around, so you don't have to necessarily worry about evening it out or anything. None of that's going to matter. The tank has no method of gaining turn meter while it is down, other than natural turn meter, and that's not going to happen very often because we're going to complete this endless loop where the tank is not even going to take another turn. It's barely going to get any turn meter at all. All you have to do is sit and wait. The more offense you put on these guys, the faster everything will go. The whole run took me about 35 minutes, so not too bad. There's a lot of room to improve my offense, though, so you could definitely get that under 30 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if we could actually do this run in a little over 20 minutes. It's it's not as fast as the Rancor raid, but it can get pretty quick and so much easier. So let's not wait that whole time and speed this up quite a bit here. Let's see, 20 speed ought to work here. Um, still, still going to take a whole 30 seconds at 20 speed, but much better than watching the whole thing. Look at the tank's turn meter. It's at about what, a quarter, maybe up to a third now. Oh, and the phone flipped over. I guess that's what happens when you stick it in your pocket and let it run for 10, 15 minutes, however long that was. We don't want to wait that long. Okay, into phase 3. This one, you might think it might be as hard as phase 1 because Thrawn, why am I saying Thrawn? I'm used to using Thrawn in this phase. Don't have to worry about him anymore. The B2 battle droid is going to, or has the ability to counter, and gain turn meter when he counters, and then take turns. The good thing here is that, well, two things. C-3PO's debuff is going to reduce his counter chance, so we don't have to worry about that near as much. And then C-3PO doesn't actually attack, so he will not be countered. Some of the other characters will be countered whenever they take their turn, but it's not going to be near enough to get anywhere near 100% turn meter. I killed off the ad that got the buff there. That could really cause us some problems if we let him gain enough turn meter. I didn't want to mess around with that. Get that out of the way, and then just like the last phase, set it and let it go. I'll bump this back up to 20 times speed because there's nothing interesting to watch here. This is where you once again put it in your pocket and wait to come back when you're at the next screen. The one It ends up being a good thing in this raid that we don't automatically advance from one phase to another. There is a cut screen here, and it's actually going to make you hit a button to continue, and that is good in this particular raid because each phase we do need to set it up just a little bit. There's not much to do in phases 2 through 4, but if we don't kill off some of these side guys, it could end up being trouble if it just targets just the main tank. None of these guys have any area of effect attacks, so you can't just target the main tank and let it go. Who knows what the computer would do if they were left up to that? But this ends up being the exact same as phase 2. Kill off everybody else to get the tank down, and then let it run. No surprise, everything here is exactly the same, so we'll let this run one more time. And it's going to be very anticlimactic, but you will finish this with a whole 15 left on the enraged timer. There was not a single attack in the last 3 phases. Easy as possible. We basically got the tank raid down now to about 6 minutes of effort in phase 1, and that is it. Check to make sure I'm still in airplane mode because it's not time to post, and that is all she wrote. Hopefully this stays. I really hope we don't see a nerf. Let me know what you guys think. See if anybody can get that full auto in phase 1. I'm 100% sure it can be done fairly consistently. Maybe not at a 100% rate where you actually feel confident leaving that every time you do the raid. But this is so much better than what we've had in the past. So thank you all for watching and have a good night.